Good evening. We're still in Matthew chapter 12. We're going to pick right back up where we left off yesterday, and we're in verse 15. Now you got to go back a couple of verses so you can get some context on what we're reading today. Where we left off, the Pharisees were starting to plot pretty heavily against what they were going to do with Jesus. So let's continue with verse 15. But Jesus knew what they were planning. He left that area, and many people followed him, healing all the sick among them. But he warned them not to say who he was. This fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah concerning him, and you can find that in the 42nd book, or the 42nd chapter of Isaiah, the first few verses. And this is what it is. It's summarized, or it's actually quoted right here in Matthew, starting with verse 18 of chapter 12. Look at my servant, whom I have chosen. He is my beloved, and I am very pleased with him. I will put my spirit upon him, and he will proclaim justice to all the nations. He will not fight or shout. He will not raise his voice in public. He will not crush those who are weak, or quench the smallest hope, until he brings full justice with his final victory. And his name will be the hope of all the world. Now, this is a perfect illustration of God's timing, Jesus' timing. The people expected the Messiah to be a wonderful and public king, a conquering king, but Matthew thought it was necessary to include this quote, this fulfillment of prophecy from the book of Isaiah. And what it did was it showed that the Messiah was not a outlandish conquering king. He was actually a very quiet conquering king. Let's read this little bit of commentary down here at the bottom. The people expected the Messiah to be a king. This quotation from Isaiah's prophecy, which is what we just read, which you can find in Isaiah 42, showed that the Messiah was indeed a king, but it illustrated what kind of king. A quiet, gentle ruler who brings justice to all the nations. So this is something that I encourage you to read a little bit on your own. You can gain context if you will read a little bit more than what we just read. And go back in Isaiah and find that passage of Scripture yourself. You learn a whole lot more when you go pick up the Bible and you actually do some reading on your own. But thank you for hanging out with me. God bless you this evening. We'll see you next time.